What's up, everybody? Welcome to the CanesInSight Daily podcast powered by Anijar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Happy Tuesday. Got a lot to talk about. Got my buddy, friend of the show, friend of the program, I think, and the leader of the most elite 7-on-7 program in the country, Raw Miami. We'll talk to him about OT7, some of his players that are committed to the Canes, some of the players that are still getting recruited on his team, and then some of the players he's gone against. Really get a good breakdown of the elite talent, firsthand experience from the 7-on-7 team with Coach Duaso. First, I want to talk about some folks that are also part of an elite squad. That is Anijar and Levine Accident Attorneys. If you or someone you care about has been injured in an accident, you could be entitled to significant compensation. Now, 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733, and take back control of your life with Anijar and Levine. All right, so big news of the day before we get into Coach Duaso. Everybody's talking about it, got to address it. That is Derrek Cooper saying that he will no longer be committing on July 12th. Now, my understanding of this situation has always been that Miami was very confident that they would land Derrek Cooper. They thought that that was going to get done. You know, that Derrek Cooper was somebody who fit the program, fit what we were trying to do in terms of just his running style, what we're doing running the ball, our offensive line investment, personality-wise, and then also, of course, the fact that he is the best player, most elite player in South Florida. So you want to make sure that if you're the University of Miami, you're winning these battles. You're not losing them to Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, et cetera, as has been the case. I know Miami had a ton of confidence in this one, and I've not heard anything different. So nothing has changed as far as that. I'm still trying to dig on this one. But, you know, when you have a set commitment and someone moves it, always something going on. There's rumors that he'll be visiting Texas during the season, and that's possibly the reason why he's moving his commitment date. We'll see if this one gets sorted out. Again, my expectation is that Derrek Cooper's in this class just because he means too much to this class. It makes too much sense. I can't see this one not getting done. We've seen these local recruitments. Sometimes they go sideways. A lot of times, even the ones that go right, there's kind of twists and turns. So I think it will be fine. I think Derrek Cooper will be a Cane. But the truth is, you know, my pick would have been Miami on the 12th. So him not committing on the 12th, you don't love to see it. But I do continue to expect him to be a Cane based on everything I'd heard for weeks, both from just people in South Florida and then also from the staff. And he's saying, just give me some good news on Cooper. I mean, look, I still think Cooper will be a Cane. That's what I think. So we'll see how it all goes. I'll keep digging. But I do think Cooper will be a Cane. Kevin Dennis is so tired of being played by these kids. Yeah, listen, some of them play us, some of them don't. I know there's some South Florida guys with rafters or with jerseys in the rafters there in the IPF as All-Americans in recent years. Talk about Cam Kitchens, Xavier Restrepo. But, you know, look, it's always tough. Rod Vick saying it looks like the elite South Florida guys look for every reason not to be a Cane. We got to give him reasons to be a Cane. I mean, it's not like he's looking at Louisville, you know what I mean, or Syracuse. I mean, he's looking at the top teams in the country. We have to give him a reason to be a Cane. I think we will get it done. Kyle's saying, Canes this like at 10,000. Yeah, we are so close to 10,000 subscribers. We should get it while the show is still on the air. So, guys, I'll be monitoring that. Who wants to be the 10,000 subscriber? Like and subscribe to the channel. Would love to see that number get to 10,000. See who can be the 10,000th subscriber to Canes Insight. I'll pull up that new member when it comes in. But again, Derrek Cooper, you wish he just committed on July 12th and committed to the Canes. But everything I've heard always has been he's going to go to Miami. He means too much to Miami. It makes too much sense. He's visited too many times. We'll see. I'll continue to be digging on that one. But I do think that we'll get him. Rich is not so optimistic. He's not coming to Miami. This is over. Look, Jackson Cantwell was coming to Miami. He pushed back his date. Jackson Cantwell is sitting right on top of Miami's commitment list as a commitment to Miami. So, you know, I think that's, to me, the example you would look at just in recent days because it just happened. And same schools involved, pretty much. Cantwell ends up going to Miami. So not always the case. So I'd say I saw one crystal ball to Georgia. Again, we just saw this with Jackson Cantwell. Same exact thing. So here we go. 352 saying, good morning, D. We have to get out of this conference. It's such a disadvantage. The only thing saving these SEC schools is the narrative. They're in a stronger conference. I know our money's good. I think the conference is an advantage because you have a clearer path to the playoff. And if you're in the playoff every year, which we should have been last year, you're going to have a lot of success. So to me, I think it is a clearer path, but, and it's an advantage overall. But yeah, there are kids that want to play. You see this in baseball too. So yeah, the conference is a factor for the SEC schools in their favor. But to me, I'd rather have an easier conference that gives you a clearer path to the playoffs. So again, I think we're going to get Derrek Cooper, and we'll see where it goes from there. Again, like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 10,000. We are at right now. Let me update this. We are at 9,991. So who wants to be number one? Who wants to be number one? 10,000. Let's see. All right, enough of that. Let's get into it. We are here with the man himself, the GM. I don't even know what you call him, the Pat Riley of 7-on-7 football. And I use that term fondly because Pat Riley is still the GOAT. The Pat Riley of 7-on-7, the GM of Raw. If you didn't think the 7-on-7 teams had GMs, you've not met this man right here, the legendary Coach Jose Duaso. How we doing?
What's up, D-Money? Thanks for having me on.
In your signature bungalow there, what's going on?
Yeah, I got the cleaning lady here, so I know you don't want to hear the vacuum in the background, so took it out to my office, aka my balcony.
There we go. And that's where the work gets done. That's where the calls get made. So look, I was there on Sunday, watching your boys. They advanced to the championship Sunday there.
No, we were actually in the we were in the quarters, but it was basically the championship game.
Yeah, lost in overtime to the eventual champion, Low Pro. I mean, these guys, unbelievable. It's like they have like one prospect.
Micah Eugenio. If his height's scary to me, their quarterback who's committed to Hawaii, but he's very well on his way to be the next Timmy Chang or Cole Brennan out there. Like, I really do believe that kid has a great story, and he will be a special college player.
Yeah, he was dealing in that game, and then they have Jet Washington, right? Kobe Bryant's nephew.
Oh yeah, he's as good as a safety as you'll find.
But overall, not a team loaded with prospects. It's more about the teamwork, and they practice all year, right?
Oh yeah, they're a very different team than when they beat us in the national championship a few years ago. They were all 5'5" and straight out of Hawaii. Now they've added some diversity to their portfolio, but I always joke around that I'm going to be Team Iceland in a D3 Mighty Ducks, D2 Mighty Ducks 7-on-7 Disney movie in the future, because it's just ridiculous. It makes no sense. Like, college coaches call me that watch it, and they're like, it literally makes no sense, but it happens.
Well, look, I mean, you watch the sport; it's a short kind of sport, right? Like it's
an offensive friendly sport. So if you're good at option routes, you practice, like their quarterback has great anticipation, they will mess up a team of 4 and 5 stars.
But talking about your team in particular, right? So a lot of people have seen you before, either on social media or on this show. Those who don't know, so Coach Duaso runs Raw Miami 7-on-7. This is flag football. This is what is hot right now, basically from February to now to this tournament here. So it's basically the second football season. And it's not like just, weekend warriors. These are the best prospects in the country. How many 5-stars were at OT7 this weekend in Fort Lauderdale?
Oh, there was easily like at least 7 to 10 5-stars there.
Yeah. So the best players in the country, you've seen them all over the course of the year. And then you have a lot of them yourself. So let's start, Coach, with the Cane commitments on your team. I know there's plenty of guys to get to, but I want to just talk about what you can tell me about the Cane commitments on your team, starting with somebody that I saw this weekend who I loved. I loved him. We saw him last tournament that I went out to. It was the last big tournament.
Battle Miami,
Miami, there we go. He was outstanding. Huge, legit, looked like a legit 6'1", 6'2" with long arms. I liked his demeanor. He was calling people out, pointing people for miscommunicating. He really just trying to get people lined up and be the captain back there. There's Jalen Waters out of Sefner Armwood commit. to the University of Miami. I'll hold his Instagram. He's showing a lot of love to Raw here on his Instagram. But
Yeah, he had Cam Kitchens and DJ Ivy coaching with us. He put up a picture of him and Cam. So look, Jalen, I've been doing this a while. I've had a lot of DBs. He checks every box you want. He is definitely one of the better that I've had coverage guys in pure man. He could go stride for stride with anybody. Um, just and where I would give him a notch above a lot of my guys is he's extremely physical. Like he's gonna come up and make you feel his power. So he's as good as I'm sorry. He's as good as a corner as you could find. Won't be shocked if he ends up being a 5-star here in the near future. He crushed the Rivals 5-star challenge, was by far the best player there. Like I said, would be extremely shocked if he doesn't get his 5th star here soon. Because you've been doing this a while, Dan, he really does check every box.
yeah, no question about it. They're seeing getting coached up by Cam Kitchens. DJ Ivy was also out there. So, a lot of Cane ties to your program, and they get back and they stay loyal and to you, to the program. They're out there. Look at some of the comments here, some of these top prospects. But yeah, I know we made the comparison to another guy you've coached, DJ Ivy, just from a physical standpoint. DJ Ivy looks huge there at the event. Obviously, he's playing a lot for the Bengals. Kind of people were on him during his Miami career, Middle Tennessee, some tough games. But I think me and you were the two people saying he was an NFL player. Ends up, becoming that NFL player even after an ACL. But I see a lot of similarities between the two, but with the exception being that I think Ivy, where he got in trouble sometimes at was he'd lose his confidence sometimes and get in his head, whereas Waters, it doesn't look like it's very easy for him.
The total polar opposite. Well, if anything, Waters thinks he's the greatest thing that's touched the earth. Like his confidence just oozes out. Like no one's beating me. I'm the best corner out here. It got to the point in the Trillion game, Dan, and I know me and you were sitting together. That Madden Williams, the Texas A&M commit out of California, to me, he's my favorite receiver in the country. That's not a raw player. Um, he I literally had told my staff before the game, Waters follows Madden Williams every single place that he goes. And you started noticing that we did that. They started moving Madden into the backfield, into the slot. They were trying to get him away from the mismatch of Jalen Waters.
Yeah, you did notice that they're just moving him everywhere, and truthfully, that's when he was on the move is when they got him the ball. It wasn't when he was just lined up.
Yeah, you said it. They're feeding 7 only.
Yeah, he was. Waters looked good, man. I really was impressed with his communication skills and just kind of the way he was locked in. I mean,
he's a leader, a vocal, and by his play, he's gonna let someone know that they need to tighten up. Something that you need in that locker room, and he's not gonna back down.
I mean, Kitchens, you see him here in the picture. I mean, what's his involvement with all this stuff? He was out there coaching, doing his thing along with Ivy.
Oh man, it's great to have Cam and DJ come help out. DJ was part of this first run of 7-on-7 for me. Cam was part of my, I would say, second step in the 7-on-7 world, and right now I'm on my third. But I've had 2 guys that have seen my growth and path in 7-on-7, and have just come back and help out. They donate to the team. They go above and beyond for me and the kids, because just they know what goes into this. And we both know that DJ and Cam are very, very high IQ players and people, and for them to come just pass their knowledge on to my kids is all that I'm very blessed to have. DJ, like, look, man, these guys don't need to do it. They're in the NFL, and DJ's texting me, I need a whiteboard. Bring me a whiteboard. DJ stopped and got his own whiteboard, and we still brought him a big whiteboard. And you have Cam and DJ on the sideline with our defensive coordinator, like, really breaking stuff down for these kids and teaching them the game. So I really hope my kids take in from these type of guys around them. But year in and year out, we're gonna have them. They both told me it's a lot of fun, and I don't really see them ever leaving my sidelines. And when they're available, we'll definitely be there as much as they can to coach these kids up, because of how much fun it is.
And I know you hear from NFL people a lot. You're in contact with a lot of agents, obviously, just because of, the nature of what you do. Sounds like rave reviews on both of those guys coming from NFL teams.
Oh yeah, I've been told DJ is going to be a 10+ NFL guy. Just worst case scenario, he's always just going to be that corner 3 or 4 on the roster because they could trust him because he knows the playbook. He's going to show up on time. That's what these young kids don't get. It's not about being the most talented. It's about being the most reliable. And that's what makes a difference in this game of football these days. It's who's going to come and put in the work, clock in and clock out when the coaches want to see. They're going to play a guy that knows the playbook more than a guy that's more talented. Like when Canes fans freak out because this young, talented freshman or sophomore hasn't played yet, I'll be honest with the fans. It's because that means they're just not locking in. They're not in that playbook the way that they should. They're not showing up to workouts the way that they should. Guys don't see the field because they don't know the plays. I would say 9 times out of 10.
No, listen, I couldn't agree with you more. And we'll get to some of the alumni from your program that are playing for Miami right now, and have played. But I think really most the consistent thing with those guys is cerebral. I mean, starting with the guy you just saw there, Cam Kitchens. But I wanted to ask you about a new member of the Hurricanes class. It's really the next class, right? It's the class of 2027. That is Jalen Jones out of, I guess now he's at MacArthur. He was at Western before. He was playing corner for you. I saw him make a nice near pick, looked like a pick in the end zone.
Probably needed a better angle to see if his foot was truly on the line in Jalen Jones. For the record, he usually plays with DEF CON. Fortunately for me, I have a great relationship with the founder of that program and Robert Ortega, aka Chop, who's now the head coach at MacArthur. His team didn't get into the national championship, so I called Chop and said, "Hey, first off, his son, who's probably going to end up at an Ivy League, is the running back you love, 21, Dan, not the guy that doesn't pass the eye test, but is always open." Chop brought me about 4 of his top players from his team, J4 being one of them, and he's actually a safety nickel in my opinion. But
hold on, you're breaking up a second. Just let me just check you out here. Yeah, we'll bring it back here in a second. You see Jalen Jones doing his thing and get him back. Hose, you're in like an airport or something?
No, let me log on.
All right, we'll bring him back. But there you see Jalen Jones doing his thing, returning. Jalen Jones playing corner for Raw Miami. Like I mentioned, he's really a safety. He gets compared to Cam Kitchens a lot. There you see why. Ranging, and that was a 100% of Cam Kitchens play right there. But even with all these great corners there in the 7-on-7 tournament, there the OT7, he was playing corner and had it really what should have been an interception, I thought. So this is a very, very talented guy. And again, just watching these highlights, it's hard not to see a Cam Kitchens when you see just the way he ranges, kind of the way his body is built. That's what he to me reminds me of, is that Cam Kitchens. There you see him over there doing his thing. Yeah, let's go. Let's get Duaso back. Hose, we back? Oh, still in the storm. All right, here you go again. Still looking at Jalen Jones, 2027 commit. You got him. You got Dobson committed. You have Amari Stevens, who was a receiver is a receiver for now. Edison was at St. Thomas and American Heritage, I think, briefly. But is now at Edison. We saw him at this tournament making a lot of plays. Really, all these 2027 guys have shown a lot of promise. I think they're all 3 of them early 4-star players. So Miami in that class of 27 is starting the right way, just in terms of getting guys that are blue chippers. John Z saying, "Good time for a food plug." Yeah, that would have been a good time. Good call. Hose, we're back. Oh yeah, I still got the crackle. All right, Hose. We'll figure this one out. Let me bring him back. While we're here, I think you're right. It is a good time for a food plug. Let's talk about the #1 Cuban restaurant on the planet, Islas Canarias Express. I know Hose is a foodie. He loves eating some of the finest food in the city, and there's no better Cuban food than Islas Canarias Cuban Express, voted the #1 Cuban restaurant in the country. by everybody. I mean, in Miami, also the country. New Times just picked up the best Cuban restaurant in Miami, which I promise there's Tampa, nowhere else has better Cuban food than this. Right there in the Dayland Mall Dining Pavilion, which is the food court, classier version of the food court, and they'll take care of you. Full menu. You're talking about, let me just look at the items here. 7 different types of croquetas, empanadas, Cuban sandwiches, cubaritos, tostones, loaded fries, all kinds of different items, all kinds of Cuban coffee, the juices, including the special Cuban juices, Te Digo Mame, all the good stuff right there at Islas Canarias Cuban Express in the Dayland Mall Dining Pavilion. Kevin Dennis saying SFE knocked him off the line. SFE hacked him. Cyber warfare is going on, Hose. We got to bring you back. Russell not having Miami and LSU in his top 3. I believe he's playing with people. We're going to get there with Coach, because Coach is part of he's had this guy for a while, Calvin Russell. So yeah, we got 1,000 odd, man. All right, let's see what's going on. What questions do we have while we're waiting for Jose here? Are we in it for Bryce Perry Wright? I believe we are. It's going to be, there's money involved, as always, with these recruitments for defense alignment, NIL. He's Texas A&M, Clemson, Miami. I know Clemson thinks that money might be a factor here. So that's something to keep an eye on. Nick West saying Vance Spafford's better than Russell needed to be said. It depends. I would say Vance is a safer bet, just like I think Lopez is a safer bet, but I think Russell's upside is really good. I'd say upside, Vance and Russell, probably number 1 A, 1B of those guys. Lopez, less upside. Lopez and Spafford, higher floor. Brandon, how'd the interview with Moten go? Great, man. Very charismatic kid. He's gained some weight. I think he's up to 315 in that range. So, he's got some size to him. All right. We're back.
I'm back. My bad. My internet modem got unplugged.
Well, that'll do it, man. Well, good to see you back. I was struggling without you. The comments were saying that SFE hacked you.
Yeah, probably. But no,
right.
back to J4.
Let's talk about him.
Yeah, I think he plays with the DEFCON program. Played with us in the national championship. He's an outstanding player. Even a better kid. Like, always has a smile on his face. Just a great energy to have around. It was awesome to have him and his boys join our squad for the last 2 tournaments at Nebraska and at OT7. Very fortunate for Chop in his development of J4, of just as a coach, has had him since Little League. Who's now the head coach at MacArthur. J4 is a Swiss Army knife. He's really, I truly think he's a safety at the next level, because he's got incredible instincts and a high IQ. Kid played the boundary, not the tallest guy, but just that classic, like 5'11", 6 foot South Florida corner that can play a boundary. He's athletic enough, fast enough. But if you want to utilize his special ability, I truly think you just let that guy play in that safety nickel role and let him just be a ball hawk, because that's what he is. And I think you saw that in that interception he made.
Well, you had Cam Kitchens, you had Amari Wallace, who's now at the University of Miami, Drake Stubbs, Bryce Fitzgerald. You had a lot of safeties, man. And we'll get to Blake Stewart in a second. But does Jalen Jones compare to a Cam Kitchens? Is that a fair comparison?
Yeah, him and Cam have a very, very as close as a comp to a kid that I've probably coached. I would maybe say I haven't been around Jalen as much, so I can't tell you about his football IQ. Just from the limited time around him, I do see good indication of that. But him and Cam have a very similar game. They're leaders. They're good kids. Like, all the off-field stuff checks the boxes that you want to see on top of the on-field boxes.
Look at the play they just did right there. That looked like the play he made. Exactly the play for you guys, like a sprint out, and he just kind of
he knows how to jump routes, man, and that's something you can't teach.
Yeah, no, I was impressed by him being able to hold his own at a corner when he really is a true safety. So, Hose, I got to ask you, those are the 2 commits, right? I don't think I missed any of the current commits on the team. But
Yeah, those are the only two commits we have currently.
I got to ask you about somebody who is, well, you've had him on the team for multiple years. He's sort of the man of the hour, and that is Calvin Russell. Again, you've had him, I don't know since how long. You've been telling me about him since.
Yeah, we've had him for 2 years now. He obviously is a very tall, massive human being. Really came into his own. I saw him take massive steps forward as a football player from last year to this year. This is a kid that doesn't. I'm not saying because of work ethic. It's because he plays basketball, hasn't fully committed into his craft of football, and one of the scariest ceilings I've personally ever had. Um, Sky's the limit for a kid like this.
Yeah,
You can't. I think you saw it. You can't coach 6'6" the way that he moves, knows how to his body control. On Friday, he made a catch that his foot was out of bounds, but what was most impressive to me, the ball was like clearly out of bounds, but what the most impressive to me of that catch was the way that he was able to twist his body and move his hips towards the ball the way that he was positioned. And I think that comes from the basketball background of some of these kids can't have body control. You see a lot of his basketball game in football sometimes, and he understands that. And I think that's what's going to help him really grow as a football player.
Before I follow up on his game, I know you don't get involved in the recruiting stuff as far as like, where they're going or what, all that kind of stuff. However, he did have an interesting quote that got people's attention where he was saying, Miami and LSU weren't even in his top three. Big picture, I'm not going to ask you specifics, but is he the kind of kid that, he doesn't really give these reporters necessarily what they're looking for all the time?
I would definitely agree with that. I think he's a guy that's just taking the interview for the interview right there. I think if just to put Canes fans at ease, I think this is a marathon, not a race. Let's have a good season and see what happens. I think I don't think Coach Cristobal is going to not go down without a fight on this one. Like I said, you don't find 6'6" walking around every day. We don't have a receiver on our roster that fits this profile whatsoever. So like I said, I don't think Coach Cristobal is going to go down without a fight on this one.
Watching him the day I was there, which was Sunday, he was really good. He caught a lot of passes from your quarterback, Diabell. I heard that the other days he wasn't as good, so he kind of just really picked it up and
yeah. Well, look, man, I have a roster that there was I was reviewing one of our games on Sunday, and there's guys that would possibly be in the NFL that had no targets in a game. Like I also have Bryson freaking Wright, as you saw, is the biggest man child I've ever come across in the sport.
Yeah, let's get to him in a second, but just putting the bow on Russell. I'm fair to say he needs to gain a little weight, right? But the movement, 6'6".
Every kid needs to gain weight, especially if they're coming from South Florida these days.
One thing I've always taken from you when you talk about these kids is the background that you provide, because that to me is the biggest indicator. And you've told me that Russell, his character stuff is especially when it comes to sports. I mean, sports and not sports, but sometimes
look, you have a mom that played in the WNBA. He understands what needs to get done to get where it's at. He was waking up at 5 a.m, working out every day at my buddy Sean Casey's gym, which is also called Raw Miami. Was working out there. Obviously, his schedule's gotten a little hectic with visits and all that stuff. So he's now working out at Miami Northwestern this summer. But in the spring, he was committed, man. I love seeing that him. He's a vocal leader. Kids follow him. So that's something I would say that definitely I can't speak highly enough of CJ.
Yeah, no, I was impressed with what I saw again on Sunday. I think he kind of reminds me of JoJo Trader. Not the same game, this guy's 6'6". They're not the same physical in terms of what they do athletically, but just like My only worry with him is gaining weight. And if he gains that weight, which look, he's playing basketball, he's not in a college weight program. There's a lot of easy ways you could see him gaining weight. I know DJ Ivy, who's in your program. I mean, he gained like 30 pounds in like a month. It felt like when he got to Miami. So this guy can gain weight. I think first, second round pick. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah, like I said, you can't find 6'6", and he's faster than what people think. Like he moves out there, especially when we were getting him on those like dig routes and getting him across the middle on some drags that we would leave some open space for him to run. It showed that he's very fluid for his size.
Yeah, you can tell the basketball skill with that one. So we'll monitor that recruitment. I'm sure there'll be a lot of attention paid to him, both by the staff and by the fans. So that will be one we keep an eye on. You mentioned it. So kind of my big takeaway from that whole weekend was this dude, Bryson Wright. There was a question in the chat. Is he really
14, yes, he is. Like he's 14 years old. I buy his flights. His dad has to roll around with his birth certificate. Even when you just interact with him, like he's a child, man, and people forget that because he looks like he's 40 with 3 kids and a mortgage. But like I like that what you just played. Like, have you ever seen like the body control on a 14-year-old? He palmed that ball like if you like that is one of the most insane catches I've ever seen in person. Like it was funny enough, one of my players who's like a player coach, the little running back, he like 21, he literally just was just like, man, wrong route, bad ball. Holy crap. Like he's we're very loaded. You had Coy there, you had Jordan Clay. So Bryson Wright is on offensively right now on a trajectory to be the greatest player I will ever coach on offense.
Yeah, I mean, my only thought with him that was, and it's not even negative, is that just like I don't know how much he's going to grow because he's already like this guy can play in college right now.
Yeah, like Austin Pettis, who coaches another team, obviously Boise State legend, played in the brother of Dante Pettis. I'm pretty sure their father was an MLB pitcher. I know, like, look at that dude. That's on a 4-star corner. Like, that's a senior. That's an 18-year-old that he's just taking up top. The way that he could high point the ball, like he's 6'4" already, 205. Um, you don't need much more. Like his lower half isn't as big as you would think it is in a good way when it comes to weight gains. People are going to say, oh, he's going to become a tight end. He's 14 at 6'4", 205. But he is freakishly gifted to. So, like, yeah, he is. BFI is as good as it comes. But to be transparent, my 28 class will be my most special class that I've ever coached.
Oh yeah, well, we'll talk about Amir Sears in a second. Before we get off Bryson Wright, yeah, I don't see tight end at all. I mean, he's fast. Got a bogus offensive pass interference, which probably cost you the chance, at least that game.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. That play right there will haunt me for the rest of my life. Like most mind-boggling offensive pass interference I've ever seen in my life. Like you were there. That corner was literally hugging his hip.
yeah, that was bad. By the
If
way,
anything, it was defensive PI, and he still made the catch.
yeah, I agree with you totally. By the way, we have almost 1,300 on. Like and subscribe to the show. Right, we're 3 away from 10,000. So
So
let's get
hopefully we hit it together. You got
10,000.
some good luck for you, Dan.
Just like we started, man. You were on those shows when we were like in my house in Lincoln Road. The
Oh,
house,
dude, Miami Beach
backyard,
Studios and Peter
grasshopper.
pulling up on me with a mic wherever we're at and recording. So we're a long ways away from Zooms.
Yeah, man. So again, shout out to all your programs throughout the years. But you mentioned 2028, which is a long way away, but it is shaping to be a really special class. Neiman Lawrence right now is on SFE. I mean, who knows how that one will end up? He's a 2028 quarterback that's going to make some noise, obviously, for Northwestern. But Bryson Wright, probably the number one player in that class, the way it's trending, unless there's some freak of nature that I just haven't seen running around. Another guy I want to ask you about who I saw get an interception on Sunday, Amir Sears. I thought he was skinny, man. And I say that positively, meaning like Bryson Wright looks like he's going to look probably. Whereas Sears looks like he looks his age and he's already nasty. I mean, his
Yeah,
twitching.
he is. His dad's about 6'4", so he comes from a big genes. Um, he's already a legitimately 6'1", if not 6'2" already. So that's what you want to see. Like I just said about Bryson, Amir will be my best defensive prospect I ever coach. As long as everything falls in line, the thing with him is he's the I will put this on the table. I have the number one receiver in the country and the number one corner in the country in the 2028 class. A 247 rider who's a high ranking rider for 247 looked at me and said Amir might be the best corner in the country regardless of class. We played him in the nickel all year at a 6'1", 6'2", which usually you want maybe one of these undersized guys that moves real fast. Man, he held his own. He got better every tournament. The confidence that he displays, I've never seen in a 15-year-old kid. Probably other than BFI, so very fortunate that I have those two. But Amir is Jalen Ramsey 2.0 for the fact that he could play every position in the secondary at an elite level. And funny enough, I would put on the table that he's a top 5 to 7 receiver in his class. So he's a two-way freak.
So I was going to ask about the position because he played safety for you, right? That's what I saw. Where I saw.
Well, we just moved him around when like he was the guy that if a position was messing up, imagine I was putting a freshman there. He went from he played the outside, he played the nickel, he played the middle, he played every position on defense for us this weekend.
But you think long term, and I was going to ask you this
No,
question.
long term, he is a lockdown CB1. Put him on an island, put him on your best guy, and he's erasing him all game.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, what kind of speed are we talking about? You see, again, you've just for people to know, you've coached when you say
He'll be like I said, he is a 5-star already. Outside him and Waters. Him and Waters are Waters is better than him right now just because he's older, but not by much, and that's scary.
So, but you think 4.4 speed kind of guy? Like
Yeah,
what
he'll
kind
be
of
a 4. Yeah, like he's not slow whatsoever.
paint the picture for these? For like when he's getting into whatever school he goes to, and we'll talk about Miami with these guys in a second. Like what size and speed? I know you're projecting, but
Amir, I am projecting that Amir's ceiling is a first round pick.
like will he be like six? Is he like 6 foot yet?
No, he's 6'2".
He already is 6'2",
Yeah.
and you think he'll run 4.4?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, you saw the
He
instinct.
works out twice a day. His work ethic is on another level. His passion for the game is on another level. I can't rave about this kid enough. He is special. Point blank. Period.
And because we're going to get this question, Miami has offered both him and Bryson Wright, correct?
Yes.
So what, man, that's pretty.
Look, Bryson grew up a Florida State fan. Obviously, he's from Jacksonville. That's Nolan Gator country. Amir grew up a big Miami Hurricane fan.
He's from Broward, right?
Yeah, he's from Lauderdale. I'm pretty sure the Lauderdale area goes to West Broward, where Josh Moore went. I think as you're seeing on his highlights, you're seeing a lot of two-way plays. You have him right there on an island on that's Miami Southridge, I want to say, going stride for stride.
And he's
That's
also
not Miami
14.
Southridge. I think that was Monarch actually.
Is he 14 also?
He's 15.
He's 15. He's a real 15.
No, yeah, he's a true freshman. He's not one of these holdbacks. Actually, Bryson reclassed up. Bryson's supposed to be in the 8th grade. He
Unreal.
turns 15 in August.
Unreal. So what other you mentioned that you had other 2028 players. What other 2028 players are we talking about?
Here, let me pull up my list. I have a kid out of Sarasota, Tyree Manning, who's going to be very special. A slot guy, played with us in um in Nebraska. Aiden Johnson, who's also at West Broward. He plays wide receiver for us. He's 6'5", 210 already at 15. He actually had, I want to say, like 10 or 13 sacks as a freshman. He actually could be a very highly ranked D end when he's coming out, more than wide receiver. Don't know what lane he goes. He has to put on weight, but that type of production at the end as a freshman is pretty scary. Um, we had TJ. His name's Tremont Isaac, I want to say. He was at Western, now at Shamadan. He's another DEF CON guy that played with us, but he's an extremely talented wide receiver. He is a stud. We also have a kid named Demetrius Ingram out of Miami Central, who's a safety. Reminds me a lot of a young Cam Kitchens, actually a close family friend of the Kitchens family. So it's just funny. Not the most athletic, not the fastest, but the guy gets interceptions like it's his job. And as you know, D Money, if you're a safety, it doesn't matter how fast you are, how it looks. If you're taking the ball away, schools are gonna love you.
Yeah, we saw Cam Kitchens do it in the pros too.
Yeah, Demetrius Ingram had a big interception against them against Trillion in that playoff game. So it's exciting for the future of Raw. What we have in that 28 class, for sure.
Shaboy Kane saying you need to grab Malik Leonard and Clinton Jean Pierre. I know you got your big board.
Yeah, we do operate like a college. We do have a big board. We have a spreadsheet of where they're from, contact info, all that type of stuff. So we have a lot of fun with it, where this is going in the sport. Actually did an awesome retreat right before the national championship. Had Morgan Stanley come teach the kids financial literacy. Had athletes first come in, teach the kids about proper NIL representation, what it should look like. CIS favorite Jim Sala at Sala Sarita and Cox was a sponsor of the event. Very fortunate for Jim's been a longtime sponsor for us, so I got to obviously show Jim some love on one of his favorite websites.
Yeah, the man. I just talked to him yesterday. Getting a lot of questions about Jeffrey O'Neal,
Oh,
2029 number one receiver.
that's Bunya. He is a specimen. He's in that Bryson Amir category, especially at safety. Um, like I joke around with Bryson, he looks like he's 35 with three kids and a mortgage as well. And he played safety for us. He's a 2029, so that's why I didn't even mention him in 28s. But he's definitely in that class at safety. It's like, man, I might have my best receiver on my roster. I might have my best corner on our roster, and it looks like I could have the future of safety for me. And as you know, I've coached a lot of good safeties, especially that last year's team with Fegans, Fitzgerald, and Stubbs. So very excited about where he's at Plantation, um, up in Broward. Jeffrey O'Neal is a dude.
Let me ask you about somebody. There was a question in the chat about this guy who I know is on your team. I don't know if you. I think it was hurt this week. Nick Lanier out of
Yeah,
Miami.
he tweaked up his ankle in practice this week. Just
So
your definition of Dade County dog. Funny enough, Bluestein and I were on the phone talking, and he says Nick Lanier is like that Duke Johnson of he'll be a 4 or 5 star receiver, but if you were to play corner or safety, he's just as good of it. He's that definition of Dade County dog, alpha male, get me the ball, I need the ball, I'm gonna make plays. And he cashes checks with his mouth. So he's as advertised. He's a dog. He's an alpha male. Knows how to track the ball incredibly. Has incredible hands. Just playmaker. Point blank. Period.
does he like the Canes?
Yeah,
Where's
I
his
feel.
recruitment at?
Yeah, I think his recruitment's in an interesting place. We're a long ways away from where he'll be going to college. But I do think legitimately the Canes have a great chance at getting a kid like Nick. I know he's at the top of every college's board that he gets in front of, though.
Yeah, he's going to be a real good player. Personality wise, and he kind of reminds me of Malachi Tony, at least in terms on the field. I know another guy that you had
Yeah,
when I
just
saw the
just
ball
football
last year.
player. He's just a football player. Like, watch him play. You could put him at multiple positions, and he's going to succeed like Malachi. I would say that the comparison in their game is they're just football players. Like put them wherever, and they're gonna make a play for you.
Yeah, no, excited to watch his career unfold. Going back to some guys that are this year, right? We talk about 27, 28, even 29. Blake Stewart, safety out of Atlanta,
Yeah,
Clemson
he played
Miami
with us this
battle.
past weekend.
Yeah, I
Um,
like what do you think of him?
Man, he goes to Woodward Academy up in Atlanta, which is like a Gulliver of for the South Florida people here. It's like a Gulliver Pinecrest of Atlanta, North Broward Prep. He's an extremely intelligent kid. I'm pretty sure his like top three was Miami, Clemson, and randomly a Vanderbilt. So kind of tells you how he is academically. Very, very sharp, well-spoken kid, high IQ, has that dog in him. Led our team in interceptions this weekend. Came off our bench early just because I had guys that played with us all year. And then when his number was called to get out there, he made plays and didn't come off the field since it was a 3-day event. And he was very understanding of that. So that's awesome. Usually when you bring in some of these highly ranked players, they get very upset if they're coming off the bench. I got to explain to them, hey, get in there, make a play so I don't take you out. Well, not me, but my staff. Um, and he proved that. He's as like I said, he's in that category of that kid has a great future ahead of him.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I like him a lot. I think he's going to be a really, really good player. By the way, we're at 900 or 9,999 subs. So let's
Just
get
one
to
more.
10,000 here with Coach Duaso on the mic. There he is. Klepper says what's up. Keep his Canes. Um, so we talked about Blake Stewart. I think that's of your current guys. I think that about covers. DFL. You saw him, really good player. I was
The
impressed with that.
mechanics, you were. I know you were impressed with him. He's got a cannon. Texas definitely has a great one in him.
But going to some of the guys you had, I want to ask about your former players, right? You have Malachi Tone, just at my so through your program, Cam Kitchens, DJ Ivy, but now and some others. Right now, Wesley Bassane, who's starting. We did a great interview with him on Storm Sessions. If you guys haven't seen that, check that out. He was great. Um, the recent year, I think last year it was. Let me know if I missed anybody. Amari Wallace, Malachi Tony, Bryce Fitzgerald played with you guys a little bit, and Ezekiel Marcelin, right? Those
Yeah,
four.
those were the four that ended up at Miami. Um, Amari Wallace is an absolute dog. Just like I brought up many times on this. Go watch the clip of him hitting CJ Bailey, who's a 6'6" quarterback. Obviously, he's pretty thin, but when you're 6'6", you're still towering over everybody. And Amari hit him so hard. Oh man, and I love to watch that play and seeing it. But Amari is just awesome, man. I love Amari. Ezekiel Marcelin is that old school linebacker. Maybe fits a little bit more of old school football than this new generation. Still could get sideline to sideline. I think Zeke is just like I said, a football player. He'll be a great run stopper for us. I think he needs to improve his pass coverage a little bit, but that comes with time. He's a hard worker. He's a great kid, but I'm very excited to see him at Miami. He comes from a great Miami Central program. Coach Paragon there at the linebackers now turned defensive coordinator at Miami Central. I think Zeke will be he, he's a bigger, faster Corey Flagg, and I thought Corey Flagg was a pretty serviceable linebacker for us. If he was a little bit bigger and faster, I think he would have been a very good linebacker for us. I think you would agree for that D money, and that's what Zeke is. Just knows where the ball is, and he's going to put his nose on the ball.
Yeah, no, Malachi Tony, I want to ask you about because he is somebody who they say is going to break records here. Just seeing in spring, he was making plays every practice, and I was there pretty much every day, and he was making plays every day, which is a freshman. It's not unusual to see flashes. It is unusual to see the consistency that you saw from Malachi Tony. So, what do you know about Malachi Tony? What are your expectations?
Baby Jesus, he's got that old school workers mentality, like that Kobe Bryant mentality. He's catching 1,000 balls before practice and 1,000 balls after practice off the jug machine, type of stuff. Like maybe that's an exaggeration of 1,000 balls, but like 100 balls, 100 balls. Like talking to some of the support staff there, they've never seen a freshman or even player come in there with the type of work ethic he's exhibiting. And as you and I know, Dan, those are the ones that set the goods from the greats, and he's going to be a great at Miami.
No, man, fired up to watch him. I think, yeah, the intangibles stand out there. By the way, look at this, guys. Pull up the channel, and it is only appropriate. It's with Coach Duaso. There you go, 10,000 subscribers, man. Shout out to Coach Duaso making it happen right where it started. 10,000, and looking forward to 10,000 more, guys. Like and subscribe. Appreciate you guys. Oh, Alec
Congrats,
DeGrosse's
Dan.
saying he's 10K. Let's go,
Alec, let's
Alec.
go.
Let's go.
That's great.
It is,
On
man.
that note, I want to talk about a little bit of the Crib Classic with me and Alec and our
Yeah.
crews.
Let's get to it.
Yeah. Funny enough, Alec DeGroza, the 10th K subscriber there, him and I were arch nemesis in high school. He played at Palmer, I played at Westminster Private School. Beef, funny enough, but now we're turned business partners and best of friends. We got together with Joel Shapiro, another friend of Canes Insight that you know, Dan, and we got with the 305 Sports Twins, who have an awesome platform in South Florida. Probably everybody here follows them if they're on Instagram, if since we're sports fans. And we created a 7-on-7 tournament for the top teams in South Florida. 16 teams will be at Columbus on July 12th. You could go on cribclassic.com and get our tickets. You'll have every top team. Bluestein made a great point last night. In the summer, when these schools are going to the colleges, like they go to the Miami FIU camp, FAU, they'll go to Bama, Georgia, all this stuff. You actually don't go with a fully roster because you have kids on college visits. It first week of July, second week of July, we'll have these teams coming fully locked and loaded for bragging rights to the crib. We uh we will have a cash prize for the winning school. We awarded Miami Norland last year, who was the winners, $5,000. Very, very excited about that event. Um, some of the schools that will be there, Columbus, obviously defending their home turf. We'll have American Heritage there. We'll have West Broward there. We'll have Shaman Madonna there. We'll have Southridge, a bunch of schools there. 16 of the top programs down here, Edison, Miami Palmetto, to name some others. Um, and representing also West Palm and Cardinal Newman, and Atlantic, up that way, and the reigning state champs in West Boca. So very excited for this event. You're going to have all the top players in South Florida there from the top programs. Come check it out. If anybody wants to sponsor the event, we have our partnership with 305 Sports. You could hit us up in the DMs on the Crib Classic, or even reach out to the 305 Sports page. It's an awesome event. We also host the Dade versus Broward game, where we hit around 3 to 4 thousand fans pulled up to watch the senior game, which it was pretty star-studded. We had Cortez Mills, Nashawn Montgomery playing the game, so it was exciting to have those top guys in it. This was the event last year. It was at Ransom Everglades on the water, but we had to move our venue to Columbus, a little bit bigger, a little bit more for people to walk around. Ransom's back in that corner on the water, but very, very, very excited about this event. And then we will be doing a combine on July 26th at Islas State, which Dan, you'll be invited to as long as you're not traveling the world. I know you like to give me crap, but you travel more than me these days. Um, and hopefully you're in town and this is an event you could go to. We'll have 150 kids at the combine working out. We partnered with Sumer Sports. That is a data company ran by former GMs and NFL scouts. And they'll be there compiling some information on the top players in South Florida and Florida.
Love it, man. No, and for a good
And
cause.
shout out to Battle also for sponsoring that event. And shout out to Cutter Gloves for sponsoring the Crib Classic 7-on-7.
Man, I wish I didn't pull up these highlights and see Jason Lopez mossing people. But for a good cause. I mean, beyond the goalpost, right? So
Yeah, it's our nonprofit Beyond the Goalpost, partnered with our creative agency, partnered with Cinco Creative, and also partnered with 305 Sports. Alec wrote there in the comments all the schools that will be there. Just excited for what we've created in the platform that we did. I love to tell this story because Doral Academy was in the game last year in the tournament, and my good friend Javi Valdez said even though the kid did go NAIA, there was a Jason Lopez, very common name in our community, Dan, from Doral. he caught a one-handed catch that was just spectacular on Miami Norland. Now he's going to college because of this event. So that's what it's for. Yes, granted, I deal with all the 4 and 5 stars, but if I could help a kid get into NAIA D3, D2 from a platform that me and my partners have created, I'm very excited for that, just to give a kid an opportunity for a school to look at.
Yeah, life-changing situation there. So, great event. Yeah, I think I should be able to get. I'm picking up my son from sleepaway camp the next day. I think I will be there though. So let me cross-check some dates there. But I should be out there in the mix. It should be a lot of fun.
Also, another great story. Amir Sears picked up his Miami offer the day after our Crib Classic event, and then LSU, Washington, and Texas A&M followed the lead once Miami offered. Our good friend Matt Doherty out in Washington was like, "Who the hell is this?" So, Doherty ain't offering many 8th graders.
No. I mean, I saw the vision with that one after seeing him in person. That's a real player right there. So, Hose, man, appreciate you always. Good luck with the Crib Classic. We'll promote it again here before, and I think I should be out there as well.
I'll send you the link so you could post on the page on it and see if we get anybody who'd love to come out and watch some South Florida kids in action.
Awesome, man. Take it easy. Thank you for getting us to 10,000. Go Canes.
That's always the plan, Dan. I'm your good luck charm. Appreciate you, brother.
See ya. All right, man. That was Coach Duaso. Awesome having him involved with the show, getting a breakdown. He's always telling us way in advance about these guys. I remember him talking about some of the, that last class with Cam Kitchens and all those guys well before they came on the scene. And now you heard about him. Yeah, 2029, Jeffrey O'Neal, #1 receiver in the country from Plantation. Amir Sears from West Broward, looking like the next big corner. Jalen Ramsey was the comp you heard. Then, of course, Nick Lanier, 27. He's a 5-star guy. And Bryson Wright, we'll all be talking about him for a long, long time. Miami's after all these guys, in case anyone asks. So, man, it should be a fun event. Again, appreciate all you guys on this show. We started doing the show full time a little more, let's say 15 months ago, man, March of last year. And you guys have been awesome. We got 1,800 on live now. You guys have been great just as far as supporting every day, coming in the comments, giving us good ideas, giving us, fill in the air sometimes. We have nothing to talk about. And you give us a good question or good comment and get us going for 20 minutes. So couldn't do the show without you guys who join us every day. Truly appreciate you. We're at 10,000. Now, the next goal, we got to get to 20,000, man. Really want to just have a Canes community here like no other. We think we already do, but want to keep on building it. And it's a fun time. And look, I know we talked about Derrek Cooper at the top of the show. There's been some wins, some losses on the recruiting front. Overall, I think you're number 6 in the country right now recruiting. Fluid, though, could go up, could go down. So, we just got to keep on being in these battles and winning our share. If you're playing with the big boys, which I think we are, we're talking about Georgia here for Cooper, Texas, Ohio State, Canwell was Georgia, Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan, teams like that. If you want to be Spafford was flipped from Georgia, they wanted to keep him. So if you want to be in this class, you have to fight these battles. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Obviously, you got to win some. You don't just want to lose them all. So we'll see how that goes. Some quick questions here. Brandon, by the way, I appreciate you joining us on El Big League Show. Brandon was all over the comments. El Big League Show, which I do with my friend Adrian Lorenzo, former Major League Baseball exec. If you're a baseball fan, college, pro, international, check that one out. El Big League Show. You just check it out on YouTube. We're on every Monday with just in-depth baseball talk with someone who knows a hell of a lot more than you and I, which is Adrian, former MLB exec, 2-time World Series champ. Brandon, though, asking, isn't LSU and Russell's top 3? Who's his top 3? It was kind of a troll top 3. Michigan, Syracuse, I forgot who else was in there. But he, as QR Coach Duaso say, don't listen too much to those interviews. It's going to be a process. I think we'll figure out where he's going by December. And that's the most I could say on Calvin Russell. I don't know if it's going to be a straightforward process. Ladarius Benson, 10K line up the tequila shots. Appreciate you, Ladarius. Brandon saying big facts, great show. Check out our big league show. Appreciate you, Brandon. Appreciate you, Canes Cat. I know you guys are all in the chat right there. Oh, FSU is the other school in his top 3. I don't see Calvin Russell going to FSU personally. Kevin Dennis saying Blake Stewart update. I think Blake Stewart is, I know he's a top priority. I talked to Miami about him on Sunday. They're trying to get him, man. It's a battle with Clemson. It's kind of at different times it looked like he's going to Miami. Different times it looked like he's going to Clemson. This is big time recruiting. I think Miami's going to have a great shot at getting that done for Blake Stewart, but Clemson's got a great shot as well. I think it's just, to me, it's 50-50, and I hate to say it like that, but that was a true battle. Clemson's had success with Atlanta defensive backs, so that's the hesitation I have. Is Blake Stewart's visited like 4 times, so true battle there. This is the hat you're hoping he puts on at the Miami Hurricane team store, MiamiHTS.com. Use promo code INSIGHT20 for 20% off. There you see the hats. All kinds of different hats. Let's roll through those. Whether you're old school guy, whether you're new school, look at this crazy one right here. You got the bucket hats, you got the visors. I mean, again, pink hats, the flat bill with the sticker, any kind. There's the 100th anniversary, any kind of hat, camo. They got it here at Miami Hurricane Team Store, MiamiHTS.com, or right across the street from the University of Miami. Promo code INSIGHT20 will get you 20% off and get you taken care of. We're almost at 2,000 on live, man. Appreciate you. There you go. Prod by Pack. Let's see. John Z asking, better chance, Nolan Wilson or Tank Jones? I think Tank Jones, but I don't, Jack Wilson is the one I've always felt the best at there. Kevin Dennis asking about Stewart or Devin Jackson. I think Stewart probably, but again, that's the safety board, I got to say, has been tricky for me to figure out. Schaefer, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you listening and supporting the show, man. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, you guys are the ones that kind of make this thing go. So we appreciate you guys. A lot of congratulations for 10,000. Again, appreciate everybody that's helped us get there, because it's been a lot of work, but it's easy work to do for sure. Appreciate you, Joseph. We try our best, man. You guys make it easy. It's all about the community. That's, I think, what makes this thing a little different. Was the community involvement. The baseball show with Sebastian. We have a couple commitments lined up here. When we get some commitments popping, we'll do a show. I promise. That's gonna be the next baseball show. Blues asking the same thing. Once the commitments come in, we'll break them down here. So again, appreciate everybody. Like and subscribe to the show. Go Canes.